All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into the incredible forces that shape India's climate. And let me tell you, it's a story of wild extremes, of a deep, ancient rhythm, and it's all driven by one of the most powerful weather phenomena on the entire planet, the monsoon.
So, to really get a handle on this, you first have to appreciate just how much of a puzzle India's climate really is. We're talking about one single country that has some of the most dramatic, jaw-dropping environmental contrasts you can find anywhere.
I mean, seriously, how is that even possible? How can one nation be home to places that are literally baking in the heat and at the same time have landscapes that are frozen solid? It sounds like it shouldn't work, but these extremes are what define the whole story. And I'm not exaggerating. Let's put some numbers on it. On a summer day, the temperature in parts of the Rajasthan desert can hit a blistering 50 degrees Celsius. But then you go to a place like Dras in Jammu and Kashmir on a winter night, and it can drop to a mind-numbing minus 45 degrees. That's a 95-degree swing.
And it's the exact same story with rainfall, just completely off the charts. You've got Meghalaya in the northeast getting absolutely drenched with over 400 centimeters of rain every year. And at the same time, huge parts of Ladakh and western Rajasthan get less than 10 centimeters. They're practically bone dry. So, to figure out how all these extremes can exist in one place, we have to introduce the main character of our story, the monsoon. But before we do, we need to get on the same page about what that word actually means. Okay, quick but super important point here. There's a big difference between weather and climate. Weather is what's happening outside your window right now. Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Climate, though, is the bigger picture. It's the personality of a region, the long-term pattern over 30, 40, 50 years. And today, we're talking climate. And you know, the word we use for India's climate, monsoon, well, it gives us a huge clue right from the start. It actually comes from the Arabic word mosam, and all that means is season.
And this is the absolute key takeaway. When you hear monsoon, you probably think rain, but the rain is just a result. The monsoon itself is a gigantic, seasonal U-turn of the winds. It's this massive shift in the whole atmospheric system that happens like clockwork every single year. So you might be asking, what on earth is powerful enough to cause this huge, yearly flip-flop in the winds? Well, let's take a look at the major forces that are basically sitting at the climate control panel for India. Now, for any place on Earth, these 6 factors are pretty much the ingredients that make up its climate. But for India, a couple of these, especially its giant mountains and where it sits on the globe, are way, way more important than the others. Let's start with the big one, altitude, in the form of the Himalayas. I mean, these aren't just mountains. They are a massive climate wall. They literally block those freezing cold winds from Central Asia from pouring down into India, which is why its winters are so much milder than you'd expect for that latitude. Then you've got where India sits on the map, its latitude. The Tropic of Cancer literally cuts the country right in half. So the bottom half is officially in the tropics, and the northern half is in the subtropics. That means India gets a climate with a bit of both personalities. Okay, so we've got the pieces of the puzzle. We have the Himalayas, the latitude, the pressure systems. Now let's see how they all snap together to create this incredible, predictable rhythm of India's seasons. This is where the magic happens. You can think of the Indian year as a play in 4 distinct acts. You start with a cool, dry winter, which builds into a scorching hot summer. Then comes the main event, the advancing monsoon, followed by a transition period as the monsoon retreats. So the drama really starts to build in the hot season, from about March to May. The sun beats down, heating up the land like a giant stovetop. This creates a huge low-pressure zone over the northwest, and you get these famously strong, hot, and dry winds called the loos sweeping across the plains. Now, by early June, that low-pressure spot gets so intense that it becomes a kind of atmospheric vacuum cleaner. It starts sucking in cooler, wetter air from way out over the southern Indian Ocean. These winds travel thousands of kilometers, cross the equator, and then just pour into India as the southwest monsoon. And you would not believe the amount of water these winds are carrying. It's just staggering. As they hit the mountains on the west coast and the hills in the northeast, they're forced to rise, and they just dump unbelievable amounts of rain, over 400 centimeters in some places. And all of this leads to, get this, a world record holder. A village called Mas, tucked away in the hills of Meghalaya, holds the official record for the highest average rainfall of any place on the entire planet, all because of the monsoon. So you can see how this isn't just about weather stats, right? This stuff directly shapes how people live their lives. When you see houses in a place like Assam built up on stilts, that's not just for looks. It's a smart, practical way to deal with the certainty of heavy rains and rising water. And then, just like clockwork, starting around October, the whole system starts to run in reverse. The sun's position shifts, the land starts to cool down, that big low-pressure vacuum weakens, and the winds begin to pull back. This is the retreating monsoon. The sky's clear, and dry weather returns. But here's what I really want you to take away from all of this. The monsoon isn't just some weather event. It's not just rain and wind. It's the literal heartbeat of the subcontinent. It's a unifying rhythm that connects the entire nation. I mean, just look at how deep this connection goes. The monsoon is the clock that farmers live by. It decides what grows, where, and when. It carves out the landscape, shapes entire ecosystems, inspires festivals, songs, and art. It's the source of water for over 1 billion people. It's everything. It's this shared experience, this collective holding of breath, waiting for the rains. Every single year, the entire country, from the farmer in the field to the person in the city, looks to the sky and waits. That shared anticipation, that shared dependency, it binds the whole country together.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If this one powerful rhythm is the lifeblood of India, the very thing that holds its people, its farms, and its landscapes together, what happens when that life-giving rhythm starts to get disrupted and becomes unpredictable?